Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're peeling back the layers of social media to see exactly how hidden propaganda campaigns are tracked down and exposed.
I mean, it seems impossible, right? You've got billions of posts flying across the internet every single day. Finding a coordinated, hidden network in all that noise feels like searching for a needle in a global haystack. But, believe it or not, researchers have developed a systematic way to hunt for these networks, and it's absolutely fascinating.
Let's be real. Social media isn't just for sharing vacation photos anymore. It's become a full-blown battleground. It's a space where deviant groups use propaganda, misinformation, and just straight-up lies to try and manipulate public opinion on a massive scale.
So that word you see on the screen, deviance, that's the technical term researchers in this field use. And we're not just talking about some random trolls in a basement here. No, this is about super coordinated campaigns, the kind that are designed to look like they just popped up organically from real people, but in reality, they're incredibly strategic operations.
Okay, so how on earth do you even begin to fight back against something so complex and hidden? Well, that's where this digital detectives toolkit comes in. It's this really cool field called social cyberforensics, and it basically blends computer science with social science to hunt down these campaigns.
At its core, the investigative process actually starts pretty simply. First, you pick some keywords tied to whatever event you're looking at. Then, you use those words to collect a bunch of initial posts or accounts. That's what they call your seed data. From there, it's kind of like connect the dots. You map out who's talking to who. And finally, you step back and look for the patterns.
But of course, the real toolkit is way more powerful. I know this flowchart looks like a lot, but stick with me. See at the top, you start with an event and your keywords. That info gets fed from places like Twitter and YouTube. Then you hit the middle section, where you've got this whole suite of specialized software that just vacuums up all the relevant data. And then comes the really cool part at the bottom, using other tools to figure out what it all means, like spotting automated bots. It's all about gathering the evidence and then piecing the puzzle together.
And this is why having a multi-tool approach is so crucial. You're not just looking at one thing. You're using these forensic techniques to find those sneaky links between different websites. You're using network analysis to basically draw a map of the conversation and see who the big influential players are. You're digging into blogs to see how the story is being spun. And of course, you're hunting for the bots, those automated accounts that are just there to shout the message as loudly as possible.
Okay, theory is great, but let's see how this stuff works in the real world. We're going to look at a couple of case files. And first up, bots. You'll see how these automated accounts have evolved at a pretty terrifying pace.
So let's rewind to 2014. During the Crimean water crisis, researchers found these botnets that were honestly pretty simple by today's standards. If you look at this network map, you can see it's basically one central group of accounts just spamming the same pro-Russian articles over and over. It's effective at creating an echo chamber for sure, but structurally, it's not very sophisticated.
Okay, but now, fast forward just 1 year to 2015. Check this out. During a NATO exercise, the botnets they found were on a whole other level. This network is what they called a syndicate. It's this dense, messy web of accounts. And the key thing here? There's no central leader. You can't just cut the head off the snake because there is no head. This makes the whole network way more resilient and so much harder to stop. It's just a crazy fast evolution in tactics.
But bots are really just one piece of this giant puzzle. The next case we're going to look at shows how these investigators use forensic techniques to uncover entire international networks that are built from the ground up to stay in the shadows.
All right, so again in 2015, during another NATO exercise, analysts started picking up on something weird. A bunch of anti-NATO blogs were popping up all over the place, in different languages. You had one in Spanish, another in English, and on the surface, they looked completely separate. Different sites, seemingly for different audiences.
But this is where the digital detective work gets really good. They started digging into the website's code, and they found the smoking gun, a single, shared Google Analytics ID. It's just a tiny piece of tracking code, but it was the one thread that connected everything. Suddenly, what looked like a bunch of separate blogs was revealed to be this huge, coordinated international network, all run by the same people. That right there is the magic of social cyberforensics, making those invisible links totally visible.
So what do these cases really show us? Well, they point to this massive shift. The battlefield today isn't just fought with soldiers and tanks. It's a digital war of ideas, and it's being fought every single day for our attention and for what we believe.
And believe me, the people running these campaigns know this. They're using tactics that are way more clever than just spamming bots. There's this thing called hashtag latching. It's brilliant in a devious kind of way. They'll take their propaganda and just latch it onto a super popular, totally unrelated trending topic. Think about something like the World Cup. They basically hijack that massive conversation to push their own message to millions of people who had no idea what they were stumbling into. You can imagine, for the researchers trying to track all this, it's a constant game of cat and mouse. They're facing these huge hurdles. A lot of social media platforms are locking down the very data they need, and as soon as they figure out one tactic, these groups just invent a new one. All of this is happening while they're trying to dig through this absolute avalanche of information that gets posted online every single day.
Look, the work these digital detectives do is absolutely vital. They make the invisible visible. And honestly, just understanding how they do it can help all of us be a little smarter about the information we consume. But it leaves us with a really big question, right? In a world of digital smoke and mirrors, where pretty much anything can be faked or twisted, how do you and I learn to trust what we see online?